Hey guys! Today I am going to be sharing a bridal makeup tutorial. My wedding is in about 2 weeks now, so I wanted to share with you guys kind of the makeup look that I'm going to be doing. I might tweak up some things, but this is pretty much what I'm going to be doing. So I figured I would share it with you guys. Obviously, I decided that I'm going to do my own makeup. It's just much more affordable that way. I definitely kind of wanted to get a professional to do it, but that just didn't work out. It was just too expensive, and I'm the only one doing it, and sometimes it's just kind of hard to get them to come out to you if it's only one person. I know sometimes they require a whole bridal party, but I also couldn't afford to pay for a whole bridal party to do their makeup, so anyway, I'm doing it myself, and I figure there are a lot of people out there who might want to do their own makeup as well. So I got this super cute little makeup cosmetic bag on Amazon. This is totally unnecessary. You can use whatever you have, but I just wanted to get something that was white and get me in that kind of bridal mode. Also just something large enough that I could fit everything that I wanted, all the makeup that I wanted to be able to have for that day. So yeah. It's really nice. It also has these organizers in there to kind of keep everything nice and organized. But then also you can take out these organizers. See, there's little dividers here, but you can take them out too if you need kind of more space or just more open space in here. But anyway, let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that you want to make sure that you do is skin prep. Do not forget skin prep, because that is going to be what is going to make your makeup sit really well and look really nice on the skin. So obviously I would kind of do an exfoliation first, and actually you don't want to be messing with any super intense exfoliations before your wedding. You don't want to mess with any really new skincare, I'd say, before your wedding, because you want to make sure that your skin is not going to react badly to whatever you're using. So I would also, I don't know what his name is, but if you look up bridal makeup tutorial, his video is one of the first things that comes up. But I saw on one of his TikToks, he mentioned a good way for kind of exfoliating your skin is to actually just apply a cleansing balm and leave it on for 5 to 10 minutes, and then just take it off with a warm washcloth. And that can kind of help to gently exfoliate the skin, get off any dead skin cells without overdoing it and using something more intense. So that's something that you can do. And then of course, moisturizing your skin and making sure that you have a good base. So the skincare prep step that I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to use this serum from Glow Recipe. This is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. So I'm just going to use this to kind of plump my skin, or make sure that my skin is nicely hydrated and ready for the makeup. So just going to apply I took a few pumps of this, and then just applying it all over the skin. This does work well kind of as a makeup primer too. I don't know, I'm going to apply an actual primer, but you could just use this if you wanted. But for bridal makeup, I do just really want to make sure that it is going to last throughout the whole day. So I do want to use an actual primer too. So I am going to do that. But there we go. My skin is looking nice and glowy. So nicely prepped. So then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use a primer. I'm going to use this one from Tatcha. And I feel like so many people have used this, but when I was looking into figuring out which bridal makeup I wanted to use and just looking at reviews for what's the best stuff to make the makeup last the longest, this one did come up a lot. So this is the Tatcha, the Silk Canvas. I'm sure you've probably heard of this. So I'm gonna use this. I kind of want to let the serum absorb into my skin a little bit more before I apply it. I'm taking a little bit of this, and I'm just gonna apply this all over the face. You could definitely just concentrate it in certain areas if you want, but I do kind of just want to make sure that the makeup lasts good everywhere. So I'm just going to apply it everywhere. And this also kind of mattifies the skin a little bit. I wouldn't say overly mattifies. You can still see a little bit of that luminosity coming through, but it definitely kind of mattifies it a little bit. A little bit of that glow from the serum is kind of disappearing as I apply this. But this is just going to make sure that the makeup stays on well throughout the day, and also so that it kind of applies smoother and just looks better on the skin. I've kind of been debating this next step, but this is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. So this is gonna give the skin a nice luminosity. So I know that I'm gonna be using this kind of as my liquid highlighter, but I'm not sure if I want to apply this on the base first. I'm kind of debating it, but I don't know if it looks all that different if I do this step or not, but I'm gonna just do it, I guess, for now. Just taking a little bit, kind of using this to give my skin a little extra glow for the base. So on top of that primer, just gonna give my skin a little bit more of that glow back. I'm also going to be using that for body highlight. I'm still also trying to figure out if I want to use something else for body highlight, but I'm thinking that this might work well. As you can see, it kind of just gives the skin a little bit more of a glow and luminosity to it. So there is my base. And then for foundation, I am going to use the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Perfect Glow Flawless Foundation. I have this in the shade 5. And I have used this a couple times now as I've just kind of been testing out my makeup, and I find that it sits really nicely on the skin. But this is just one that has come up when I've done like research for what foundation to use for bridal makeup. Obviously, you can just use a foundation that you already know that you have a good experience with, that you know your skin does well with. You don't have to use these specific products, but hopefully, if you are needing recommendations, this video can help you. But then I'm just gonna go in with a sponge. And this isn't, I wouldn't say it's super, like it doesn't have like a whole lot of coverage. I would say this gives like a light to medium coverage. On me personally, I have a bit of like dark spots from past acne, so that probably has partly to do with it. But I find that this is going to give me enough coverage that I'm still happy with the amount of coverage that it gives. And I have been, like, I'll go in with one layer, and then if I want a little bit more coverage in some areas, I might add that. But I also may just use a concealer to add coverage to anywhere where I want a little bit more coverage. But this does sit really well on the skin. I've also heard that it lasts really well throughout the day. Actually, I know that it lasts pretty well throughout the day because I did do a day where I tested my bridal makeup and just wore it all day, see how it would last throughout the day, and it did last well. And I actually like the coverage that it is giving. I might want to put a little bit more coverage on some spots where I do have, like, as you can see there, have like some dark spots there around my cheeks. So I am going to add just a little bit more coverage with a concealer. A concealer that I love that has amazing, amazing coverage is the Fit Glow Beauty Conceal Plus. This stuff is amazing. I love it so much. So I have this in the shade C2.5, and I'm just going to kind of apply this to any, like, just a few kind of spots on my cheeks where I do have those acne marks. And I'm just going to dab it in with my finger because this stuff gives really, really good coverage. So I'm just going to add that to those areas, and then just dabbing it in with my fingers. I just find that this gives it the most natural finish and helps it to keep that coverage really well. Sometimes a sponge can absorb a bit of the product, so I'm just blending this out with my finger, and then I will go in with a sponge just to make sure it's all like really blended out, but just getting that initial coverage, I like to use my finger to dab this in. And as you can see, it just helped to really like cover up those dark spots a little bit more, so that's nice. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go over it with a sponge, make sure it's really well blended out. And then of course, also you definitely wanna like take your foundation down your neck. I feel like this is a pretty good match, so I feel like you can't really tell. It's a pretty good match for me. But on my wedding day, I definitely do want to remember to blend this down the neck, so that way there's not a chance that I'm just gonna have an obvious difference between my face and my neck. For concealer, for under the eyes, I'm gonna use the Jouer Cosmetics. This is their concealer, and I have this in the shade Wheat. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of this under my eyes. I'm not gonna go ham with it because otherwise I just find that it just looks heavy. So I am not gonna go overboard with that. Fit Glow Beauty also has like an under eye brightening concealer type thing. It's called their Eye Bright. It's like a yellow color corrector type thing. It's brightening. That's good too if you want something to like be extra brightening under eyes. That's a really nice product. You would just use that under your concealer. But I'm just gonna go in with the concealer, and you could definitely add some more, but I just don't want to go overboard with it because I just don't want it to look heavy. So this is all I'm gonna use. I might add a little bit more, but honestly, this might be just fine. And you could use an eye primer too if you want. Maybe you could honestly just use this for your eye primer or whatever primer you have. I mean, you could also just use a concealer for your primer. I do like to kind of put my concealer on my eyelids too to make sure it's all looking nice and even. For setting the under eyes and some areas of the face, I'm going to use the Laura Mercier powder. It's a very popular powder. I actually hadn't used this powder before I decided to pick it up for my wedding, just because I really want to make sure that my makeup would last long, and this is just like the powder that comes up for people really enjoying it. Normally, I don't like love the ingredients in here, but for this one day, I figured I just really want my makeup to stay on well. I'm also gonna take a little bit, guys, I'm no professional too, so I'm probably just like not doing this makeup. I don't know if I'm using all the like right techniques or whatever. I'm just your everyday person. Maybe you'll get some ideas from this video, but I'm not a makeup artist at all. Just your everyday person sharing with you guys what I'm gonna do. But I'm just doing this a little bit so when I apply the bronzer, just making sure I don't bring that bronzer too low. I'm going to be using both liquid and cream products for blush and bronzer and highlighters. Yes, this is technically baking, but I feel like I'm not applying as much as people normally do when they bake. For eyebrows, I'm going to use the Kosas eyebrow pencil. This is in the shade Taupe. I really, really like this eyebrow pencil. So I'm going to use that to fill in my brows and kind of give a little shape to them. And then I'm just setting the brows with the Kosas Air Brow, and this is the clear version. Let's get into some cream products. So I'm going to go in with a cream contour / bronzer. So for contour, I'm going to use the Nude Sticks Contour Stick. This is in the shade Bondi Bay. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this on a brush. This is the It Cosmetics like dual brush. This is a really nice brush to apply it, but you can just use whatever brush that you have that you think would work for this. So just taking some on the brush, and then I'm just going to kind of lightly kind of tap it. Right, kind of like at the top of my ear, and just lightly tap that into the skin. I don't want to bring it too low, but also kind of bringing it into the hairline and bringing it upwards. And a tip is to make sure not to, like, don't drag it downwards. I'm sure you guys know that, but just keeping that going upwards. And then kind of that powder is just going to kind of help make it so I don't bring it too low. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. And then also taking some on the forehead, or the perimeter of the forehead, I should say. And then you could also contour your nose as well. I'm just going to take this other side on this brush. I'm just going to do a little bit of contour on my nose. I am not, like, I honestly haven't done this too many times, so I'm not going to go crazy with it. Definitely don't want to be messing with something too new that I don't really do that much on my wedding day, but just adding a little bit of contour to my nose. I'm not going to do anything crazy. Just a little bit. I know some people normally apply even more than that. I also find that if you apply it to a brush too, it's more forgiving. You can kind of play with it more, because I feel like when you apply with the stick, it might just be a little bit harder to blend out. At least in my experience, you can kind of just build up that pigment and that color if you use a brush to apply it. And then just gonna kind of blend this out. You could also totally skip contouring your nose. Honestly, I might not even do that on my wedding day. I might, but you could definitely skip that step if that just doesn't interest you or you don't want to do that. Now that I've done that, now I'm going to go ahead and do a cream blush, and I'm going to use the LYS Beauty Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush. This is in the shade Kindness. I think this is a great pink color to use for your wedding. So I'm going to use this brush right here. I know it's a little dirty. It has a little bit of this blush on it from when I tested creating this look earlier. But this is the IT Cosmetics, one of the IT Cosmetics brushes, but I find this brush works really, really well for applying this cream blush. So just taking a little bit, I just can build up as I go, but I just don't want to apply too much to start. So just taking a little bit on there and bringing it kind of to the top of my cheekbone. I'm not going to put it like towards here to the apples of my cheeks. I'm just going to kind of bring it up here really above where I did that contour. I'm just going to lightly dab to apply this. And also, I guess your blush kind of like is one of the first things to fade, I feel like. So you can go a little bit more intense with it if you want. It'll probably fade a little bit throughout the day or even by the time you finish doing your makeup. And I am also going to be applying a powder bronzer and a powder blush on top of this to really get extra of each to make sure that it's going to just last even longer and last the full length of the wedding. For highlighter, I'm going to use the Hollywood Flawless Filter again, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this on the back of my hand. And I learned this tip, I think it was some video on TikTok I saw, said to put it on the back of your hand and then take your beauty sponge and then apply it, and that'll just apply way better than just going directly onto the skin. It just applies way smoother. So just taking a little bit of that. Oh, I think I just applied that way too close to my eye. But taking a little bit of that, I just applied that way too close to my eye. See, and that just applies really, really nicely and beautifully, and it makes it look nice and seamless. Honestly, I have powder on this side of the sponge from when I baked those areas, so I feel like I'd prefer to use this side, but I have powder there, so I should probably bring 2 different sponges on my wedding day to use. And that way, because I feel like this corner part or this edged part is not like the best way to apply it. I'm gonna do my eye makeup next. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place with these steps, but I'm gonna do my eyeshadow. So I'm gonna use the Tarte Man-Eater eyeshadow palette, and I am going to start off with this shade Saucy, which is a nice like brown shade. I am not going to do anything crazy with the eyes. I'm going to keep it kind of simple. I'm also just not like, I don't know, I'm not like the best at eyeshadow, so I'm just going to kind of keep it simple. But I'm just basically going to put this like on the outer kind of portion of the eye and then kind of bring this into the crease. And I definitely got this idea for this from another YouTuber. If you look up Bridal Makeup, her video is one of the first to come up. So you could definitely check out her video. I definitely got some ideas from her video. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of try to blend this up a little bit. Something with a straight edge, and kind of use this to guide me as I do this. Honestly, I might not mess with doing that on the wedding day. I might just skip that. I just kind of decided to try that just now. So then next I am going to take the same shade, this shade right here called Spicy, and I'm going to apply this to my lower lash line and just taking a smaller brush to apply this. And then I am going to take the shade Foxy right here, and I'm gonna apply this pretty much like all over the lid, and it's gonna be my like shimmer shade. It's a really pretty like champagne shimmer shade. And then I'm taking a really small little precise brush, and I'm gonna use this shade right here. It's called Lace, and I'm gonna use this for the inner corner highlight. So that's pretty much it for the eyeshadow look. Just super simple, just using those 3 shades. I'm going to take the shade Lace as well and apply this to the brow bone. If you don't really want shimmer on your brow bone, you could use the shade here called Passion. That's really pretty as well. but it'll kind of help to kind of highlight the brow bone a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get into the powder products. For bronzer, I'm going to use the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. This is in the shade Nude Bronze Light. If you have a really light skin tone like I do, or fair skin tone, then this is a good one to use because it is, I feel like it's really easy to work with where you're not going to overdo it, but I love the Hourglass bronzers. The Hourglass Luminous Light Bronzer is one of my absolute favorites, but I wanted to make sure, sometimes I feel like I can overdo it a little bit with that one. It's a little bit of a deeper shade than this one, so I wanted to use something that's a little bit easier to work with on my wedding day, something where I don't have to worry too much about applying too much, and I'm going to use this Makeup by Mario makeup brush. This is such a good bronzer brush. It's a dual-sided brush. I kind of just picked this up for my wedding. You definitely don't need to do that. I have a bronzer brush, but I kind of wanted a little bit of a nicer bronzer brush. So I got this one. If you are in the need for a bronzer brush, this is a really good one. You could also use it for other things as well. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and apply it for bronzer, warm up the face even more. And I'm just going to dab this as well. I'm not going to swipe it just because I really want to make sure that I'm not moving the other makeup around. So just dabbing this. And I mean, some areas I might swipe, like the forehead, I think that's okay. But face, I just want to be extra careful, like the cheek area, make sure I don't move around the foundation and the other products. But as you can see, like it makes it so you're not applying too much. I feel like you can kind of build it up and just add even more without having to worry too much about applying way too much. So then I'm also going to take some on the jawline. Actually, I totally meant to take that cream bronzer on the jawline too, so I accidentally skipped that, but taking this bronzer on the jawline. And I'm also going to blend it down the neck a little bit. But there that is. And then I'll take this other side. I'm just going to apply just a little bit to my nose. Just a little bit. I don't want to overdo it. Also for my eyes, I'm going to use this brightening eyeliner. This is the Fit Glow Beauty Eyeliner in the shade Brightening Beige. And I'm just going to apply this to the waterline, the lower waterline. Honestly, you could also do your eye makeup before you do foundation if you want. I feel like that could be easier. You definitely don't have to do things in the order that I did it. Just do whatever works the best for you. All right, and then that just kind of like brightens up the eyes a little bit more. I am going to use the Ilia Beauty Highlighter. This is their Daylight Highlighting Powder in the shade Decades. It's a really pretty champagne color. So I'm just gonna apply this to tops of the cheekbones. A little bit on the nose. Okay, I don't have my eyelash curler with me right now, which I really need. I feel like I'm not going to be able to get the look I want. But for mascara, I definitely need to get my eyelash curler. That would definitely help with this look. But I don't have it with me right now, so I would do that. But then for mascara, I'm using the Tarte Maneater Mascara. I just realized I forgot to do another step that I want to do before I apply mascara. So back into the eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to take this shade right here called Midnight. It's a deeper brown shade. And I'm going to use this kind of like an eyeliner. So just taking a thin brush like this, kind of a flat brush. And I'm just going to use this to kind of create an eyeliner line. Just rather than using an actual eyeliner, this is just a bit more soft. Okay, and then I'm just going to brush away where I added that powder. Just brush that away. My eyes as well. And then also just taking a little bit more of that Laura Mercier powder. Just lightly setting the face with this just to make sure that all the makeup stays all day long. This mascara is just not going to look as good as it normally looks. It normally looks really nice. I definitely need my eyelash curler. Just imagine that they're a little more upwards and curled. And then I am debating whether or not I want to apply eyelashes. I'm not super experienced with applying eyelashes, but I'm going to practice doing this and see if I want to do it, but I got the Ardell Wispies. I think these are one of the more natural eyelashes that you can get, and if you're just new to using eyelashes, then this might be a good one to try out. So I am going to try that. I actually do have some more steps though, so let's go ahead and do my lips. So I have a little bit of like a lip gloss on right now. I just wanted to make sure my lips were nicely moisturized. You could just use like a lip mask too. I want to get that Tatcha lip mask. I've heard so many good reviews about it, but I'm thinking about getting that just to apply before I apply my makeup, just to make sure that my lips are nicely prepped for when I apply the lip products that I'm going to use. So for lip liner, I'm going to use the Buxom Power Line Plumping Lip Liner, and this is in the shade High Def Honey, and this is kind of like a nudish brown shade. So I'm going to use this to line the lips, and I'm going to kind of do like a little ombre effect type thing, where I just fill in my lips a little bit with it, but not completely. And I'm not really gonna overline my lips. I'm not like super experienced with that. I feel like if I do it, it's just gonna look funny. So I am just gonna line my lips regularly and then just kind of fill in my lips a little bit with the lip liner. Then I'm going to apply a lighter pink. And then for the lip color, I'm using this lipstick from Fit Glow Beauty in the shade Buck, but you could use any other pink lipstick you want, or don't even have to do pink if you don't want to, but just gonna apply this, just like a nude pink. I kind of wanted to get the Tom Ford lipstick in the shade First Time. It's a really pretty like peachy pink color, but that one's so expensive, and I already had this, and this is, I feel like, a similar color, so I think this will do, and it is really, really pretty. I want to do some body highlights, so I'm gonna kind of show you guys what I'm thinking. So I am thinking about getting the Josie Maran like whipped body butter, because I heard that kind of gives your body a little bit of like a luminosity to it. So I do kind of want to get that, but I haven't gotten that yet. I think I might get it. I'm not totally sure yet. But for now, I think I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. So I am just going to apply this kind of just all over my décolleté. I also want to apply some to my shoulders. You could blend this out with your hands, but I'm gonna use a brush. I got this brush on Amazon, like a little body blending brush. This thing is so soft. It's so soft. I'll link it in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. But I got it for the purpose of highlighting my body for the wedding. There are also like other body shimmers that you could use, but if you don't want to buy a specific product just for that, you could also use just like a highlighter. I'm thinking I might use this and then I might top it with my actual highlighter just to give even more shine, but that kind of gives a little bit of a luminosity to the skin. I'm going to apply a little bit more. I just want to feel glowy and beautiful. So I'm going to kind of go ham with that a little bit because it's not super obvious. So, but it just gives the skin a really pretty glow. You could also take it on your neck a little bit, down your décolleté, depending on like where your dress is. Just feel like it's just giving a little bit. I feel like I want a little bit more shine. Again, I am thinking about getting that Josie Maran body butter, so maybe I'll use that as well, or maybe I'll just use that, but I figured this would work too, and I think it definitely is giving a pretty shine. What do you guys think? Is that nice? Is it nice? All right, and then I'm gonna top that with the same highlighter that I used before for my face, the Ilia highlighter. I'm gonna take the same highlight brush that I have, and I'm just gonna highlight with this as well. Pretty, very pretty, pretty. This looks so pretty. You might also want to do this step after you put your wedding dress on. So this is the final look, unless I end up doing the eyelashes. Also want to make sure that I have my eyelash curler with me. Sheesh, I need to just put that in my makeup bag here so I don't forget it. That would be so bad if I forgot it on my wedding day. Then I wouldn't have curled eyelashes. That just won't do. Oh, I almost forgot setting my makeup. Cannot forget that, especially on your wedding day. You want to make sure your makeup lasts. So I'm going to use the Skindinavia, the makeup finishing spray. This is their bridal version. So specifically for brides to make sure their makeup lasts all day. And I have tested this out. I did this whole makeup look and I tested it for a whole day to see how well the makeup lasted, and it did last really well. I think it, even like 8 hours or more, my makeup was still looking pretty good. So I'm just gonna set my face with that. On my wedding day, I might go a little more ham with the spray and apply even more, but for now, I think that is good. Almost forgot another thing. Topping it with a lip gloss. I'm going to use the Kosas Wet Lip Oil Gloss in just their clear shade. It's called Jellyfish. I'm just going to add that on top, just for a little gloss. I am all over the place, you guys. I almost just forgot to apply my blush. So the outro of this video, I do not have the blush on. I literally finished filming and then I realized I didn't apply the powder blush. So I'm going to apply that and show you guys what I'm using for powder blush. I'm using the Hourglass blush. This is in the shade Incandescent Electra. Super pretty peachy pink shade. So pretty. So do not want to forget that. So just applying that on top of that other blush, the cream blush that I did before. So don't want to forget that step. I just wanted to add this in here. So the outro, it's gonna look like I'm not wearing this blush, but just wanted to show you guys that step because that's a very important step and it's so pretty. So this is the look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I will have all of the products that I used in today's video and talked about in today's video listed and linked in the description box below in case you guys do want to check any of these products out. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. And if you do want to see even more content from me in the future, I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you for my next video.